Hi, my name is Jason Sanders, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create a functioning web application with no coding experience whatsoever using ChatGPT. And to do this, you'll need just three things. First, you'll need an account, a ChatGPT account. And I have ChatGPT Plus, which is $20 a month, and that gives me access to GPT-4. However, um, for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to use GPT 3.5, and you can sign up and get for free and get access to GPT 3.5. The second thing that you'll need is some sort of code editor, and I like to use Visual Studio Code, and you can go to their website and download it, and it's also free. And after you download it, the one thing that you'll need to do is install an extension called Live Server. So you can click on this icon with the squares, and then you'll see, or you can type Live Server into this extension search box here, and then click on the blue button Install that you'll see next to Live Server. And this is important because it will allow you, so we're going to get the code that we need for our web app from ChatGPT, and we're going to paste it into files in Visual Studio Code. And using Live Server, we'll be able to see what the website looks like before it actually gets deployed to the internet. Live Server will create a local environment on your machine where you can do that. So, and then the third thing that you'll need is a Netlify account. So you can go to netlify.com and you can create a free account. And what this service does is it lets you actually deploy code files, and it'll build a website and deploy it to the internet for you. So as you can see here, once we've got our files given to us or generated by ChatGPT, we can drag and drop them here, and Netlify will build a website and actually deploy it for us. So if you're unfamiliar with ChatGPT, the way it works is you create something called a prompt, and you type it here in the send a message section, and you click on this button, and then you'll get a response from ChatGPT. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to create a task list web application where you can add tasks. You can cross them out when you've completed them, or you can delete the task from your list. And this is the prompt that I've already created that I'm going to paste and put into the send a message section here. And one of the things with ChatGPT is the more specific and targeted your prompt is, the better the results that you're going to have. So if I said, please create a basic web app using simple code to keep track of tasks, I'd get one response, but it might not be as comprehensive or as good as I would like. So it's best to give all of the specifics. So what I've done here is I've described to ChatGPT what functionality I want it to have and also how I want it to look. So I'm just going to read through this real quickly to give you an idea of exactly what we're looking to build. So please create a basic web app using simple code to keep track of tasks. Users can add tasks, mark them as completed, and delete them. At the top of the app, there should be the following title, Task List. The title should be centered. Below the title, create an input field, also centered. Place a rounded blue button under the input field that says Add Task. Below the blue button should be a list of the tasks added. When the user clicks on a task, the text should turn to red and be crossed out. When a user double-clicks on a task, it should be deleted. Place the elements of the app in a box centered toward the top of the page. The edges of the box should have a shadow. Make the background outside the box a light shade of gray. So I'm going to copy my prompt here, and I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, and I'm simply going to paste it and hit send. And let's see what we get back. Okay, just like that, it created all the code that we need for our app. And so I'm going to read to you what it said. Creating a complete web app would require a combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Below is a simple implementation of the desired task tracker using vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In this code, we have a basic HTML structure with a title, an input field, a button, and a list. CSS styles are applied to create a box with a shadow effect centered in the page and a light gray background outside the box. JavaScript is used to handle adding, marking completed, and deleting tasks. Copy and paste the provided code into separate files in the same directory, and then open the index.html file in your web browser to see the task list web app in action. So we're going to do this. We're going to copy and paste the code into separate files into Visual Studio Code, and instead of opening index.html file in our web browser, we're going to fire up the live server to take a look and see what the code looks like. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go back to my Visual Studio Code and add 3 new files. So I'm going to add index.html, styles.css, and what was the third one? What did they call it? So styles.css and script.javascript. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to copy and paste the code that ChatGPT gave us. So let's go to HTML, copy that and paste it here. Go to the CSS file, copy that code and paste it here, and go to script.js, copy that code and paste it here. And that's it. So we got the code from ChatGPT, pasted it into the separate files, and let's take a look and see what it looks like. So I'm going to click on Go Live here. As you can see, it says click to run live server. So I'm going to click on that, and it'll bring up an instance of our web app. Okay, it looks pretty good. Let's see how the functionality works. So let's say go to supermarket, add task, do laundry, what else? Change light bulb, mow the lawn. Okay, so far so good. It's adding all of the tasks that we want. And let's see if it, let's say we change the light bulb and we click on this, if it crosses it out. Yes, it does. Go to the supermarket. Let's say we did that task. Okay, we can cross that out. Let's say we decided we don't need to mow the lawn. Let's see if double clicking it deletes it. And it does. Okay, so this is pretty good. Let's say I want to make a few adjustments though to this. Let's say I want to move this white box a little bit more towards the top of the page. The way we can do that, again, this is assuming you have no coding experience. We're going to rely on ChatGPT to make these small adjustments. So let's say I want to move that white box more towards the top of the page. So I can say, please move the white box containing the input field and blue button more toward the top of the page. Okay, let's see what response we get from that. Okay, to move the white box containing the input field and blue button more towards the top of the page, you can adjust the CSS styles for the container class. Specifically, set the margin bottom property to create some space between the box and the bottom of the page. Here's the updated CSS. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code snippet here for container. I'm going to go to the CSS and I'm going to look for container. I'm going to delete this and then paste the new code. And helpfully, we can see that ChatGPT puts a comment here, add some margin to create some space at the bottom. I'm not sure this is going to do what I asked it to do, but let's see what comes back when I go when I refresh. Okay, it didn't seem to do that, which I've noticed sometimes when I ask ChatGPT to make some adjustments to websites. Sometimes I have to go through a couple iterations before it'll get it right to exactly what I'm wanting, because it could be that the way I wrote my prompt maybe wasn't specific enough, or ChatGPT didn't quite understand what I was specifically asking for. So let me try that again. I think it was positioning these items within the box a little more towards the top. So let me rephrase that. Thanks. Actually, I would like you to position the container box more toward the top of the page. Right now, it is centered. Oops. Okay, let's see what this does. So, apologies for the misunderstanding. To position the container box more toward the top of the page, we need to update the CSS files for both the container and the body element. So let's copy this code and paste it over the body and container elements. Okay, let's see what that did. Okay, that's better. I wanted it more towards the top of the page. Let's see what we could do next. So in my original instructions, I had the add task button below the input field. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to make that adjustment next. So please, okay, looking good. Please place, oops, the blue button underneath input field box. Let's see. Okay. Let's try that. To place the blue button underneath, let's wait for it to finish. To place the blue button underneath the input field box, we need to adjust the order of the elements in the HTML and update the CSS styles. Here's the updated code. Okay, so I'm going to copy the HTML. I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to go to Style CSS. And it looks like it's the whole file. So let's copy everything and paste it. Paste it here and take a look at our updated app. And perfect. That worked. Let's double check to make sure the functionality is still there. So let's say go to the supermarket, add task, mow the lawn, change the light bulb, and let's see if let's say I changed the light bulb. Okay, perfect. I went to the supermarket and I no longer need to mow the lawn. Okay, perfect. I think the last adjustment I might make is I think I want this add task button to be a little bit bigger. So let me try that. Please make the blue add task button a little bit larger. And let's see what we get when we do that. Okay, to make the blue add task button a little bit larger, we can adjust the padding or font size of the button. Let's update the button's padding to increase its size. Here's the modified CSS. So I'm going to copy this, and I notice it's just for the button element in the CSS. So I'm going to go back to the CSS. I'm going to look for button, and I'm just going to paste over the new code. Okay, let's see what that did. If that made our button a little bit bigger. Let's refresh. I think it made it a little bit bigger. Let's see. Yeah, it's looking better. Let's say I want to make it even bigger. Looks good, but let's say I want to really, for whatever reason, make that add task button a little bigger. Okay, looks good. Can you make the blue button just a little bit bigger? Let's say, please make a little bit bigger. Okay, sure. To make the blue add task button just a little bit bigger, we can further adjust the padding. Here's the updated CSS. So let's copy it and let's paste it here. And let's take a look. Okay, it's getting bigger. I think that looks pretty good. I don't want to make it too gigantic. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. So this is a great example of how, if you have no coding experience whatsoever, you can go in, you can create an account with ChatGPT, a free account, and you can just describe a basic web application that you want, and ChatGPT will create instantly all of the code that you need. And if you want to make some adjustments to it, you still don't need to have any coding experience. You can just ask ChatGPT to make the modifications and then adjust, cut and paste the code appropriately. So the next thing that I'm going to do is to show you how we can actually, this website here is just running on my local computer. I'm going to show you how you can actually deploy it and make it a real live website. So I'm going to pause for a moment while I get things set up here. Okay, so I have a folder here which contains the files that were in my, let's see, if I pull up my Visual Studio Code, you can see I have the index, HTML, script.javascript, and styles.css. And these are those files in a folder on my desktop. And I've got my Netlify account opened. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these 3 files and I'm going to drag and drop them into my Netlify account. Oops. Let's see. Index.html. Okay. Script.javascript. Let's just make sure styles.css. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, so it looks like what I needed to do was put all these files into a folder called task list and then drop this folder into Netlify. Let's try that. Okay, it's uploading. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's move me over here. Okay, so let's see. Let's click on Open Production Deploy. And there, it worked. So basically, to summarize, what I did was, let me go back here, and I uploaded the files. So first I had to put them into a folder because Netlify, when you want to deploy a website, it wants you to upload a folder, not the actual individual files. So I uploaded all those files, and once I did that, this screen came up and I clicked on Open Production Deploy. And as you can see, it opened up my web browser, and this is actually on the internet now. And this is the address. And let's see, options, deploy settings, continuous deploy. Yeah, so it looks like everything is up and running. This is the web address for it. So again, if I click on it, it opens up, and that's it. So as you can see, it's a fairly straightforward process. What you basically need to do is decide what kind of website or web app that you want to create, make a detailed prompt, enter it into ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT will create the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that you need to build the website. You cut and paste that code that's given to you by ChatGPT into your code editor, and you can code editor like the Visual Studio Code, and then you can click on your live server to see what it looks like before you actually deploy it to the internet. You can make any adjustments that you want. Then you place all of those 3 files into a folder, and you drag and drop those files into Netlify. And within seconds, as you can see, it built this website for you. So before I go, one of the things that you can do is change your site name. So if you go to configuration, right now it's called, this is the name of your website. So what you can do is you can change the site name. So let's say I wanted to call it my task list app. It's a little hard to read, so maybe I'll make it my task list app and save it. That's already taken. My task list app 55. Just pick a random number. Okay, that worked. And so as you can see, this is now your, let me close all these. Now you can see if I click on this, it goes to the app that I just created, and the name of the website is my task list app 55.netlify.app. So that's it. I hope this was helpful. I hope this showed you how AI can be used by someone who has no coding experience to create a basic web app, a functioning web app. Go to market. As we can see, it works. It's on the internet. Do laundry. And it's fully functional. So again, I hope this was helpful.